SEAL training. Oh, Jesus, I love this stuff. The word of God is good to the soul. At least twice a week, the trainees were required to run the obstacle course. Did I read that one already? No, it's different. The obstacle course contained 25 obstacles, including a 10-foot high wall, a 30-foot cargo net, and a barbed wire crawl, to name a few. I think I started reading it and I didn't finish the thing. But the most challenging obstacle was the slide for life. It had a 3-level, 30-foot tower at one end, and one level tower at the other end. In between was a 200-foot long rope. So you got a 30-foot high tower at one end, and then you've got a one-level tower at the other end. A three-level tower and a one-level tower, which means the rope went down like that. The rope went down. So you had to climb the 3-tiered tower, and once at the top, you grabbed the rope, swung underneath, and pulled yourself hand over hand until you got to the other end. So now imagine that. You're up 3 levels, you grab the rope, and you're going like this down the rope until you get to the other end, which is the first level. That's going to rule out everybody that's afraid of heights. See, it's some natural stuff that's going to eliminate you altogether. It's already something pre-recorded on your hard drive that says, I'm not going up there because I'm scared of heights. But you don't know why you're scared of heights because you've never been up. Isn't that silly? I'm scared of heights, but you ain't never been up. I'm scared of planes, but you ain't never been on one. Where's the information coming from that makes me draw the conclusion first before I try? See, that right there mess you up. How do you draw a conclusion before you even attempt something? You have no experience whatsoever. And then I draw a conclusion that I will never do that. I will never try that. That scares me. Why? Because it looks scary. The fact is, I watch people do it every day. For everybody that's scared of a roller coaster, go to Great America and watch that 45-minute line. Creech like that, yeah. And watch all the people that are in that line get on the ride and get off alive. All the facts are staring us in the face that this is nothing to be afraid of. But I'm afraid. And then I start listing all these reasons. Man, you don't know what's going to... How could you say you don't know when you're watching people do it? Hey, bro, I don't know. So this is what it looks like. You're climbing down the other way, looking up at the sky and looking up at that rope and looking up at your hands go hand over hand for 200 feet. The record for the obstacle course had stood for years when my class began training in 1977. And the record seemed unbeatable until one day a student decided to go down the slide for life head first. Instead of swinging his body underneath the rope and inching his way down the rope, he bravely mounted the top of the rope and thrust himself forward. It was a dangerous move, seemingly foolish, and fraught with risk. Failure could mean injury and being dropped from training. Without hesitation, the student slid down the rope perilously fast. Instead of several minutes, it only took him half the time by the end of the course, and he had broken the course record. If you want to change the world, sometimes you have to slide down the obstacle head first. The normal way was to turn underneath and do what everybody else was doing. That's the normal way. But then our class came. And we had a guy in our class that saw another way. And proved, watch this, that there was another way. If you were willing to take the risk. He says, I can reinvent this. Within his mind, he saw another way. Looking at the same thing, he saw something different. And he was willing to risk failure of the program to walk out what he saw. He was, come on now, nobody had ever done this. But he's thinking in his heart, I can do it. Come on now. And he did it and broke the record for the first one who had ever done that at that speed at that time. If you're going to change the world, you're going to have to move on an original idea. If you're going to change the world, let me rephrase it. You cannot be afraid to implement your original idea. Because we live in a generation of copycats, which is why we live in a generation of failures. Because no one has the courage to do what they see. Watch this. Because they can find no reference point for it. We're copycats. And we live our lives in fear. But if you're going to change the world, even if you can't find a template for it, if you can't find a reference place for it, you have got to be willing to say, I'm getting ready to step out on this even if I fail.